Hi, my name is Daniel O'Connor. I'm known as Dan Wasteman on Twitter. I do regular hands-on webinars which give practical practical advice on how to improve waste management on campuses and in buildings. This is a recorded webinar of the 10 lessons I learned integrating the campus recycling system. In this next 20 minutes, you will get practical tips, take-home tips and advice which have all been born from mistakes I have made so that you don't need to make them and you have a quicker route to success. I used to be the waste manager at Newcastle University, which is a city centre campus in the UK with 22,000 people on site. In the 3 years or 4 years that I was there, we got recycling from 20% to 90%, and I helped them do that. From 2011, I've been involved with this website, walk-it.co.uk, which is a reuse platform which makes it easy for staff in organisations to swap and share surplus assets within the organisation and between organisations. So let's go to Newcastle University. This is a city centre campus, very busy, 55 buildings, surrounded by city and green fields. It's an old red brick university, one of the Russell Group. General lessons from this webinar, so there's a sort of bigger picture. Lessons are that you can introduce good recycling and positive change with no real major upheaval in policy. If you implement easy-to-use infrastructure, you'll get higher participation because it's convenient. You've got to have good, clear communications so that staff and students know what they're doing. Personal contact is really important, building rapport with your users, so the people who are using your bins. Incremental rollout of a recycling scheme is a good idea because you can, as you roll a scheme out incrementally, you learn lessons as you go. That's called validated learning. And you can change it to suit or correct course should something go wrong. And also, I say you've got to keep things beyond idiot proof. That is as simple as you can make it. Okay. I will intersperse the webinar with quotes which hopefully highlight some issues. So I've got this photo just to give you a demonstration of the approach we took on campus. You'll notice that this is a banner stand. It's in a foyer, so it's passive. It's simple design. Also, there's a simple idea behind using banner stands. When you use banner stands like this, you can move them around the buildings on the campus, so they're quite a cheap, passive form of communication. And of course, you know, if something stays in one place for more than 3 or 4 days or 3 or 4 opportunities to view, it becomes it's ignored. So when you move things around, you know, it's a bit more attention grabbing. You can also see that it's fun. You know, it's a fun graphic. You can also see that we're not saying that much. We are saying that recycling is easy. Yeah, with that first paragraph. The second paragraph, together we currently recycle about 50-60% of our general waste. That is, it's a social proof. So people see that and they say, oh, well, other people are doing it, so I should do it as well. And there's a little bit of a motivation, good work, keep it up. And then there's some contact details there and a bit of credibility at the top there with the logos. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to give you the 10 lessons that I learned. In some cases, these are like high-level lessons. In other cases, it goes a little bit of detail. So lesson 1, when you're rolling out any recycling scheme, is to have the correct mindset. Okay. So when you prepare yourself for a task at hand or something that might be challenging, you need to have a mindset to get through this. And what you need to know about rolling out recycling or any change or trying to implement any change of behaviour is that you can't keep everybody happy. Okay, so you're going to get some flack, you're going to get some argument, you're going to be challenged. Okay, so you just got to keep that in mind and take it as it comes. However, you know, when you are bringing about change in any organisation, you're going to get resistance. Okay, so you're prepared for that. So how does change happen? Well, this is a graph of the type of people and their response to change. Okay, so you have the innovators, which is about 5%. Those are the people who, take a change in their stride and adopt new practices. Then you've got early adopters. Then you have the early majority. These are the early adopters are really important because they're your friends, they're your allies on campus, and they influence at the start everybody else. Now you're always going to have this 20% of laggards who are going to be really hard to change. So personally, I think just ignore these guys and put all of your effort into these here. Because if you put the effort in here, these guys will come along in some time. Okay, and this is kind of like the 80-20 principle, where 80% of your efforts sometimes are concentrated on 20% of the people. So you might spend 80% of your efforts trying to persuade these people, when actually the best thing to do is spend 20% of your effort and actually get all of these people on board. Lesson number 2 I learned was to be a face on campus. So you are the public face of recycling, so that people can come to you for any issues, they can email you for any issues, and they feel they've got a personal connection. And this is really important to build rapport. And when you build rapport, you get on board with the early adopters and the early majority, and they then influence others, and I'll show you how that happens. But 2 great tips that I've picked up, and these aren't tips that these are tips I've learned off others actually. One of them is when you're putting new bins out for the first time, be there when you're putting them out, because staff and students will have questions, and if there's someone there to answer it straight away, it stops rumours and gossip. Tip number 2 would be cleaners or porters who are on your campus or in your building. They're the grease on the cogs that keep things moving, so it's really good if they're on your side. So if there's any manual labour to be done around putting bins out or cleaning bins or changing stickers or changing locations, you need to be there to help them. Okay, so you can talk to them as well. This is really good for building rapport. Another good thing about being a face on campus is, as you get to know people then learn to trust you or like you or have a connection with you, and they're more likely to do what you say. Okay, and you're selling a new system here, you're selling a new behaviour, so think like a salesperson. Lesson number 3, rapport is the most important thing to develop with others, because when you develop good rapport, other people will do your job for you. So if you're battling to change recycling behaviour all the time and it's just you banging along by yourself, you're not going to get anywhere. But if you've got an army of people on your side who have rapport with, then that makes the job so much more easier. Good ways to build rapport, and this applies to anything in sustainable behaviour change or even life, I guess, is that to recognise that everyone's out there with their own objectives, they're all on their own journey, they've all got their own work to do. Okay, so you've got to respect their objectives, okay, and they respect yours as well. It goes without saying, honesty and transparency is really important. So being honest about times and delivery times and when things are going to be changed or when things are going to be fixed. And if there's any doubt, always under promise. It's much better to say, if someone said, when are these bins going to be fixed, or when is this door going to be fixed, much better to say, it's going to be a month and it actually gets fixed in 10 days rather than, it's going to get fixed in 5 days and it's actually 10. So under promise where you can. What I found to my, which was a surprise, was, if you make a mistake and you're honest about it, staff and students are much more likely to forgive, and actually that builds rapport because it shows that you're human. Okay. And then again, if there's an identity, it's just easy for people to get in touch. So for example, at Newcastle, we had an email address, recycle@newcastle.ac.uk. So it's like, it's just a really good way for people to get straight in touch with you. Okay? Now this graph shows why rapport building is so important. Okay, so this is the adoption of a new practice due to mass media, over time. So you see that the green portion is the behaviour change over time. It drops off after exposure to this communication. But you'll notice this pink is word of mouth, interpersonal communications. Okay, so this is why it's really important to build that rapport with staff, because they're going to carry on spreading your good word, by word of mouth, which is much more meaningful. Okay, and this is to do about respecting other people's objectives. Really, it's listen twice as much as you talk. My wife tells me 2 ears, 1 mouth. Okay, and as part of this, consultation is good, but it's got to be proper, meaningful consultation. These are a list of possible stakeholders in any building or campus, okay, who you should be consulting about various aspects of your recycling scheme. And this can apply to any sustainability issue in a building. One really strong, there's two, they're all very strong stakeholders there, but I would pick out cleaners as very good at influencing others, because they are there all day long or all night long sometimes. Secretaries and other staff like that have excellent communication networks in the building, and there's a lot of word of mouth influence goes on there. And also, if a building manager is in place and the building manager is on board, then they can do your job for you, basically. Okay. Lesson number 4. This is a mistake that I made, where we didn't fully test out bins before we purchased them. We purchased a set of bins designed for one area and didn't really test them anywhere else. So, bit of a mistake. These bins were designed for kitchen areas, where staff had their hands free, could move around, and actually had time to open up the drawer. Well, actually, these bins did not suit corridors or gathering spaces at all, because students and staff have the hands free, don't have the hands free. They're carrying books, or they're on Facebook, or they're talking to their friends. They haven't got time to actually pull the drawer forward and put the bottle in or the can in, so that these bins failed in corridors. So one tip I learned was suppliers or contractors or manufacturers who make bins will give you samples free, and you can actually take this as a consultation opportunity, where you can take these samples of bins from suppliers and actually test them with all of these stakeholders, to see which ones they like. And that's a nice way of building a bit of consultation and rapport. Okay, that's a little take-home tip for you. Another thing that I noticed, that people or staff and students will avoid bins which are messy or do not look appealing. So you've got to have some nice vinyl stickers on hand to do your bins. So handmade signs is a no-no. This is a turn-off for people who don't like to see that sort of thing. You've got to have nicely made-up bins, good stickers, colour coordination. This bin, for example, is a corridor bin where it's nice and thin, people can walk past, and there's an aperture here for paper, and that can just be slotted in. So that's an example of how different bins can suit different locations. Okay. Some links here. I will send this presentation out after the webinar, and these links actually give some really good guidance on communications, recycling identity communications. Okay. Lesson number 6. This is called validated learning, where you do a pilot, you test how it goes, you review it, and then in the next one you bring in the improvements to the next pilot, review it, bring in the improvements. So this is an approach that I use now all the time, where test how it goes, review, correct course, improve, and then carry on and on and on. And if you run that recycling scheme, it's nice to break it down into building by building, so you can pilot in one building, see what works, what doesn't, take to the next building. By the end of 10 or 12 buildings, you'll have a perfect recycling scheme. Okay. This quote is to do with pilot review as well, because this is about taking action. So you've got a whole campus or a whole building to reduce recycling to, and that can be a bit overwhelming. So what I would say would be, if there's something stopping you taking action, analyze what that might be. In my case, I had a whole campus to roll recycling out to, and I was kind of paralyzed by the whole size of it. So I looked at where that was coming from. It's because it was just overwhelming. So I analysed my fear, I identified my fear, and then I thought, well, I'm going to break it down to small parts, and that's when I did the pilot review. Okay, so I've just kind of gone through that. Something's too big, just break it down. Okay. So lesson number 7 and 8, I realised that fun stuff, fun initiatives people like, punishments people don't like. So, for example, we ran a league table of a recycling league table for buildings, so we could see the tonnage of recycling that was coming out of certain buildings, and we put them all into a league table, and that really stimulated a lot of fun, and a lot of actually stimulated a lot of extra recycling, because buildings always wanted to be in the top half of the league, so that worked really well. So think of fun things to do. Do not punish people for not recycling. That's another mistake that I made. If people in the scheme that I rolled out, if people didn't recycle, they got a little sticker on the bin which said something like, "You haven't recycled. This is a sticker. This is a little warning. Please recycle in the future." And the staff got 3 strikes and they're out. So they had 3 stickers which were ripping off them. So what did that do? Well, sorry, that's not true. If they had 3 stickers, we wouldn't collect their waste anymore. Okay. So what actually happened was those stickers became a badge of honour for the laggards, and there was many offices where there was many occasions where those stickers were a badge of honour, and they were stuck on doors, like it's almost like hey, we don't need to do recycling. This isn't what we do. Skip that out. So punishments do not work. A nice idea which I've heard since then is that instead of a punishment when someone doesn't recycle, leave a sweet or a bit of chocolate or some sort of incentive on the desk of those who have been recycling. Okay, that's Sherry Lee Miles who gave me that tip. So here's we had this recycleometer developed at Newcastle, where we would tour this around each building. So each building had its own recycling rate, and the recycleometer would be toured around the building. Okay, so that's a nice bit of fun. So feedback. This is part of feedback as well. You actually do that. The league table can be a good way of feeding back how staff are doing. And this is obviously the famous quote by Peter Drucker. Lesson number 9, and this is part of building rapport as well, and it's being human, it's being transparent. If you're struggling, ask people for help, and people will help you. Okay, they can do a better job than you can, and when people help you, they feel a connection and they want to help you further. Okay, so it's a really good way of building rapport. Lesson number 10, automise where possible. This is kind of a personal productivity tip, really. But for example, if you can automise any processes, and these are usually around administration, then that frees up your time so you can do more important things. For example, if you're getting lots of emails, you could set up an automatic email which just said, "Hi, I'm out on campus for the whole day. I won't respond to emails until Thursday. Please bear with me." Okay, something like that. Other ways of automising processes would be, if building was wanting to order some more bins, you can automise the bin ordering process by doing an online form or something like that. Okay. Lesson number 11, there is no closure. So this doesn't stop. Once you've started your recycling scheme, you will have to carry on every 3 months. You need to do some communications. You've got to have new initiatives, all that sort of thing. Okay, so that's a bonus lesson. So I hope you've enjoyed that presentation. These are a few little quotes that I like to remember when I am undertaking any new project. Basically, get out there and get out there and create this new project. Okay. Little tip: there's a lot of great resources at that link. Okay, that's posters, stickers, templates, that sort of thing. Further support, please check me out on the various social media channels. Okay, and hopefully we'll see you in another webinar. You can always check this website for any other webinars. Okay, thank you for your time, and make sure. So that was a free webinar. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed giving it. If you would be so kind, please check out my other service, which is Warbit. This is an online platform which allows staff to swap and share surplus assets. Have a great day. Bye bye.